Hello everyone, this is Afsar Ali. So this is a part 6 of our ongoing WebDriver IO version 7 with Cucumber series. In this video, we're gonna learn how we can integrate our existing code base with AWS Code Build and Selenium Grid, and also we'll do the Dockerization and Cucumber report part. Okay. In the previous video, we saw how we Dockerize our automation test and integrated with the GitHub Actions. There we also did Docker Compose and Selenium Grid integration there, right? So you can see the previous video in the video description link. I'll be providing that previous videos link over there. Also, you can find a GitHub link as well in the video description where for this video you can see there'll be new branch YouTube class 6, all the things that we'll be doing today. You can see another branch over there. Okay, just a quick recap. In previous video we saw in GitHub Actions how we integrated, right? If you can see here, there was a regression job. Then we had um, introduced the Docker Compose there. So we remove this particular part where we did manually build the Docker file, then we run the Docker separately, and also we ran this Selenium grid as well separate. In this video, we are not going to use the GitHub Actions. Instead, we'll be using AWS Code Build, where we'll be using build spec.yaml file, but the setup will be the similar. Like we'll first run Selenium grid, then after that we'll be running our automation test. To integrate with AWS Code Build, you must have AWS account already created. If it is not there, then you just go ahead and sign up for the AWS account. Okay, so in here I already have created my account and signed in already. And also if you go here in the security credential section, and here you can just get your access keys, right? So in my case, I already have my access keys already generated, and so I just copy these access keys, which will require in the later stage while building our Docker image and pushing Docker image to ECR registry. So after generating the access key, you must have installed the AWS CLI in order to interact with the AWS resources, right? So to do that, you need to install AWS CLI. So you just search for it, and if you are using Mac or based on your operating system, you can get appropriate version. Okay, so there are a lot of options over there. You can also, if you're using Mac, you can also install using the Brew, or you can also download from here the pkg file. Then you can just install it like any other software. I have already installed AWS CLI, so I can just type which AWS. You can show you the path where AWS is being installed. Okay. After that, you need to configure the AWS in the CLI. So to do that, you need to just type AWS configure, and you need to just enter your access key. So I already have my access key already entered, and it is already being saved. So in my case, I'll not do anything because I already have. So you just need to enter whatever the access key and secret key. You just copy it from there. Then here default region name you need to enter. Then after that, this one is the output format. Okay, so in my case also I already set up JSON. Okay, you also can see .aws file inside your home directory. To see that, you need to enable because those files are hidden mode. So you just need to use command shift and dot. Then you can see all the hidden file as well. So here you can see there should be one .aws file, right? Should be here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. So if you just click on that, you just see over here there is a config file. Okay, then here, just if you open that, and you should see, so there is another file called credentials. Over here you can see access key and secret keys. Okay, so here you can see this. So you must find this. To test, we can also run a command for listing all the S3 bucket that if we have, right? So to do that, just type AWS S3 ls. So you can list down all the buckets available in your account, right? So you can see I have two buckets already there, open source automation and WDIO test one. So I can see over here. So in your case, if there is anything wrong, then you might see some authorization error or something. If error, so you need to go and configure AWS configuration again. Okay, so in order to integrate with the code build, so we need to go to this documentation. We'll see what that build spec.yaml file is. Okay, so search for AWS code build docker, then after that just go to this page. Then over here, okay, you can see something called build spec.yaml. Okay, so this is you can copy from here and just create the same file in our working directory. Okay, so I'll just create another file called build spec.yaml, right? Hopefully this is the YAML file, YML file. Yeah, I think should be okay. And then just copy and paste everything from there. Then we need to change based on our requirement. Let's see where this build spec.yaml file will be used in our AWS code build. So if I go to the code build, okay, so I'm not going to create a code pipeline. So we'll be using code build. If you go here, okay, so first thing we need to do is we need to create a build project, right? So first, if that project is already there, then we can relate this build spec.yaml file over there, and this build project will point to this YAML file and start running whatever we have written within this file over here, similar to GitHub Actions that we did earlier. So for now, ignore the part that is being written over here. We'll modify this. Okay. Let's create the build project first. Click on this. Then you can just name anything, right? Maybe I'll just write WDIO project. YouTube. Okay. And you can write anything, any description over here. And build batch, no need. And restrict number of current build this project can start. Just keep it everything as a default. But here the source type, okay, this one we need to change. Okay, so what we need to do over here is we need to select the GitHub because our code is present in our GitHub. Okay, so you can see this is the code base. Okay, and the branch that I haven't pushed it yet, so what I do is just quickly push the current branch, the class 6, so that our build spec will be present over here. Okay, so that we can use that branch from the GitHub itself. Okay, let's commit this. What I do is just I will just comment those code which is not required for now. Okay, later on we'll update this. I'll just push this so that we can just see some command is these logs are printing over there. Okay. And then git push origin. Okay, so you can see this new branch is being pushed over here, and we'll use the same branch. Let me select that, and the build spec.yaml file should be within the root directory. Okay, make sure that. Then we need to connect using the personal access token, or you can use the OAuth. So in my case, I'll just do OAuth. Then just need to confirm that your account is correct and you're authorizing. Yeah, after clicking on okay, then you can see all the repository in my GitHub account or public repository. So I can see all my repository over here. So this is the repository that we are intend to use. Okay, I can double check as well. And the branch that I'll be using is YouTube Classics. So in here you can either use the branch, commit ID, tag, or anything reference, etc. you can use over here. So I'll be using a particular branch to check out. Okay, and then this all should be optional. And operating system, so this is the something that you need to select: managed image or specify a Docker image, a custom image. So I just use the managed image over here, and I'll select the Ubuntu runtime. You can use the standard code build. Okay, I'll just use this. Always run the latest environment time Linux. Enable this. If you want to use the Docker image, then just tick this particular thing so that Docker will be available. Okay, then it will create a new service role for this particular thing. If you have existing roles or IAM roles, you can use that as well. But for my case, I don't have any roles yet, so it will create a role for me. Okay, then use a build spec file. So it will automatically get the build spec file, as I said, this one. Okay, it will automatically detect and run whatever written within that. Then after that, artifacts. Currently we don't have anything, and let's enable the CloudWatch log. Okay, then create the build. Then it will create the project over here for the code build. Okay, now you can see the code build project is already created. Then you can do one thing. You can start the build. So basically what it will try to do is it will run whatever written inside here. Okay, let's see if it is doing or not. So it will first provision. You can see the fetch details. First is submitted, then queued, provisioning, then install, then download the code, then it will run our test, or maybe whatever we have written in this build spec.yaml file. Okay, so now you can see all the phases is completed. You can also see here the build logs right over here, and tail logs also you can see in here. So if we analyze over here, so what is happening? So it is all provisioning the resources. Then after that you can see these logs are coming from our build spec file. Okay, logging into Amazon ECR. So this is just a log. Okay, we are not doing anything like this thing. We are just logging. So this particular things you can see over here. Build started. Okay, build started on, I think that is also, this date also is there. Building the Docker image also, I think there. Building the Docker image. So these are the logs that we are printing. So now the actual thing that we need to do in here, so that when we push any changes, then it can run, or we can just manually run this build as well. All right, let's see how we can do that. Let's try to do the same thing that we did for GitHub Actions, right? So the first thing that we need to create this and run the Selenium grid, okay, with the network. Then after that, we'll just run Docker build image. Then we'll run the Docker this application, right? So let's do the same thing here. Okay, so now you can see I was just pulling the Docker image, Selenium standalone Chrome image. Then after that, we're just creating a network. Then we are running our this Selenium grid, okay, standalone Chrome. Then after that, we'll be running building this whole application. Then after that, we'll run that Docker file with the Selenium grid. Okay, here you can use the Docker build, and we can just tag also this image like wdio test. That is the image. Okay, then we can do dot, so it will just build there. Then after building that, what we can do, we can run as well, right? Maybe before running, I'll just do something here, docker ps -a, so that we can see the logs over there for the Docker, okay, all the containers thing. So we'll just run docker run, then host name is same as here, the Selenium grid name, okay. Over here, I'll just use Selenium grid then. Yeah. The network name is automation network. Yeah, I can change that also to make it consistent, right? Automation network. Then its name is WDI test, and we are mounting this app reporter volume to our current directories reporter folder. Then running this image that just now we built over here. Okay, the same image name I just using over here, and just docker running, and it will run the test. Then after that, what we can do, yeah, maybe what we can do over here, just write echo to print this test run completed. And over here, instead of running this, what I can do, I'll just print what is happening SLRT, and also I'll just see what is happening inside this folder, lslrt of reporter folder. All right, just remove this and just commit these changes. We'll see. Okay, now committed the changes. Then I go over here and run the same test again. We'll see if there is any change in the build. Okay, it is submitted, then queued, then provisioning. It will take some time. Then we should see the logs. Okay, so install pre-build, and you can also see the logs over here. Look, okay, and now you can see it's pulling the Selenium image. Okay, Then once that is being pulled, it will try to run the Selenium grid first, then after that our test. Okay, so something wrong in the network. Automation network not found. Okay. Oh, okay. I think I did one mistake over here. Here, automation network. I didn't create it. I created different Selenium Auto. Alright. So once that is being done, I think should be okay. And commit, post. Okay. Now I'll just rebuild this. Maybe I'll just create a new. Okay, it's provisioning. Then yeah, we'll see the build logs over here once that is being provisioned and installed or downloaded the codes. Okay, it's started the pre-build stage, pulling the Docker image. It's a build phase. Okay, now we can see downloaded image now running our test over here. Okay, so it's installing first, then after that it will run our test. Okay, our test already started, and yeah, it's running fine. You can see over here. Great. All right, you can see all the tests got passed over here. Okay, all pass, and you can see our HTML report also got generated. Okay, so HTML report over here is being generated, and you can see within the reporter folder, which is being mounted with the Docker container to the local directory. Okay, so you can see this cucumber report.html file also is being generated over here. All right, so the next thing that we need to see how we can get the report. Okay, so there is a very good option over here within this code bit. Also, you can integrate cucumber report as well over here. Okay, so we'll see how we can do. But before that, we need to do something because if you see this Docker file, this image is quite bigger. It's like 1.5 GB, right? So we need to shorten that. Okay, we'll use something because why I use this one, because we are running our test within this container, and this particular image also has Chrome browser inbuilt, so that we use that. So instead of that, because we are running with the Selenium grid and Chrome browser and everything is running in another container, right? So we no need to use so huge image. So instead of that, what I can do is I'll just use Node Alpine version. Okay, it's quite very small. I think it's around 200 MB or something, right? I use that. So only for building purpose, this one will be okay, and our test will run in another container, that is Selenium grid, right? So everything should be okay. Right, then what I can do for reporting, as we know, all the report which is being generated within this container, we also have within this working directory. Okay, the current directory, the reporter folder, we have those HTML report which is being generated. So we can just copy and send to S3 bucket, or maybe we can send through the email, etc. We can do the sending with the email part in another video. Okay, but in this video, what we can do is we can show this Cucumber report in the build spec in here itself. Okay, to do that, there is a way with the code build as well. So if you go to the documentation, you can see support Cucumber JSON, JUnit XML, NUnit XML, test ng XML. So this things being supported by code build. Okay, so how to use that you can go through over here. Based on your requirement, you just use that. All right, in my case I just use the Cucumber one. All right, now you can see this report section have you can name anything, this WDIO, then the file format. So this is Cucumber JSON, you need to make sure, and you need to uh, point all the JSON file generated by this particular directory. Okay, so once we run this test, right, it will generate the JSON file. We'll just because here we're not using anything, the HTML, though the HTML is being generated, so we'll still be using the JSON files being generated. So basically here, if you see in the reporter folder, the JSON file will be stored. So we just point this reporter folder, and JSON, there is another folder will be created over here called JSON. Within that, all the JSON files should be present. So instead of using one by one all the folder, because that will be dynamically to use that, I just use the regular expression like dot, meaning all files present within that JSON folder. Okay, ending with the .json extension. Okay, so let's commit these changes and we'll build again, and we'll see whether this new report is being generated or not. Post, then I just go ahead and try to build here. Okay, and it will take some time. Okay, we can see over here the logs, pulling the image. Let's wait to complete. Test is running. Okay, we'll just wait for this test to be completed. Okay, so testing already completed. You can see due to some issue, I think one of the step got failed this time, and yeah, all other are 15 passed, one failed, one skip. Okay, so if we come to this particular section, that is reporter, and within this reporter folder you can see .json folder also is there. Okay, and all the files present within that JSON folder, it is being used in this in our reporter thing. Okay, so to see this where it is being used, if you go in the report section, okay, you can see there is a report is being generated over here. Okay, yeah, you can see the pass rate and how much time duration it took, and okay, so when it got created, so you can see all the failed and pass scenarios, Cucumber scenarios, and the details also is present over there. Okay, so you can use this, and one more thing also you can do, you can also, if you go to this report group here, you can see all the previous, okay, here it will show the comparison between the previous runs as well. When we run this test now multiple times, maybe I'll just run one more time, and then you can see different runs comparison over here. Okay, the pass percentage and fail percentage. I'll just trigger one more time. You can see here. Go to project and die project. Okay, so last time it got failed. Let's just create one new one. I'll just wait for the test complete. Okay, you can see after running the second build, so second build also has some failure. That's why one failure in that case also. So if you see, there are two builds. So if you run multiple builds, also you can see over here. right? Now we'll see how we can get this generated HTML file as well, right? Because if you see here in the logs, if I go here, this previous build, here it generated the logs. If you see, we are running this. Okay, so there is a catch over here. So when our test got failed, it doesn't generate the HTML file. It is because if you see our um, Docker file over here, so we run two commands basically, combining two commands. The first is npm run test, and the second one is npm run generate report Cucumber HTML. So this is the one which is responsible for generating our HTML report. But in case of failure, it will just run this one. It will run the second command. So to do that, let's do it in a different way. So instead of running this command over here, we'll run outside of this Docker file. Okay. So for that, I'll just remove from here. Let it be only the npm run test command. Okay. So how to do that? So the idea over here is the first thing, we'll run our Docker command or npm run test within this Docker image. Then after that, once that container is stopped, right? So it will have, that container will have all the HTML, not the HTML generated yet. It will have this index.js and the JSON files, okay? Because the JSON file path are present over this reporter. If you see in here, right, in our config file, here the JSON folder path is reporter, then JSON, okay, in this. So what we do now, okay, so instead of run a Docker run container, we'll just first create the container. We'll start the container, okay. The first start will run our test. Then once the test is completed, then the Docker container will stop, right? Then after that, what we do, we'll just execute the command, the specific command to generate our HTML report within the stopped container. Okay. To do that, what we do, just instead of Docker run, I'll just create, sorry, Docker create. So it will just create the container. Then after that, I'll just run this command, docker start, and then docker start the name of this one container. Okay, docker start, then -a is for attached. Okay, once that is being done, so the test is completed, the JSON file will be present within this reporter folder. Then the next thing, what we need to do after post build, maybe that would be the best place to run a command for our report generation. Okay, so there was a typo over here, so it should be docker start -a, then the container name. I'll just use docker start, then www test this container name, because this container is already stopped. Now I'll just start the container and just go inside and execute some command, because if container is not running, you can't execute any command within that. So you need to make sure the container is running on started position. So in order to do that, just use docker start, then the container name. Okay. Now to generate the report, we just docker execute, then this bin sh, meaning we are going inside the container within the terminal, and we're typing node reporter because this is the command to basically generate the HTML report. So if you see here in the package.json here, okay, generate a report Cucumber HTML. Basically, this is the command node reporter index.js. So this index.js file is responsible for generating our HTML report. Okay, so we are using the same within the container which we just now started over here. Okay, then to make sure whether this is generated or not, we can just print those print that we can show the directory whether this is being generated or not. So this will fix our the bug which we had when the test got failed. It was not able to continue with the second command, which was to generate our report. Now we separated those. So the first one, even if that is failed, it will generate the JSON file. From there we can just run within that container. We can run this node command to generate our HTML report. So now we have the HTML report present within this reporter folder. Then we can just use those HTML that HTML file as a artifact over here. Okay, so if you see here, I have written this artifact then files. So within the artifact section we can see this HTML report. Okay, so this is the Cucumber HTML file will be generated by this command. So we just pass the path, okay, reporter path, then it will be present. Then we'll see how we can generate this file, and we can send or save this HTML report in the S3 bucket as well. Okay, let's commit this change. Okay, so before running, let me quickly just recap what we have done. So this is the pre-build phase where we're just running the Docker Selenium grid. Okay, then after that we're just building the Docker image for our automation, and here we're just running for the automation test we are creating a container. Okay, then we are starting the container which will be in attach mode, so that our test will start here. Then this Docker container will stop, and here in this post build section for the generation of the report, we start this container again. Then we executed some command to generate our HTML report within this started container. Okay, then after that we get this HTML report and marked it as artifact. Okay, and this is our report section where this JSON file will generate our report in a code build. Let's create one more build over here. Okay, build started. Build started. Okay, Selenium grid run. Okay, you can see now after finishing the test here, you can see HTML file is got generated successfully, and here you can see within this reporter folder we have this Cucumber report.html and also the JSON. Okay, so this is what we wanted, and we can export this as artifact to S3 bucket. All right, and here also, okay, so here is saying report export config is okay. So basically we need to configure the S3 bucket for this particular artifact, then only it can export to S3 and we can see those files, right? We'll see how we can do that. And also if you want to see the logs, definitely you can go here in the code report, and here you can see the reports. Okay, now also the fourth test got failed, that's why. Okay, And if I go here, build logs, there is one section here, build detail, I think somewhere in here, artifact detail. So we need to set this thing so that it can export this artifact into the S3 bucket. Let's see how we can do that. Okay, now go to within the project section, just click on that. Then after that, you need to go to this section. Okay, build detail. Then after that, go to this artifact section, just edit over here and select the Amazon S3 and the bucket name. Okay, so I have already some bucket created. If you don't have buckets already created, so we need to go to S3. Let's create one bucket over here. Okay, I go to the S3 bucket and then I create WDIO test. Okay, test2. Let's copy and SEL. Okay, let it be there. So bucket created, WDIO test2, and within here I need to, let's select again, bucket should be there. Maybe I'll just need to refresh. Amazon S3, you can see the new bucket. The name, you can also name anything. I just name Cucumber report path. If you want, you can name space type, build ID if you want to use. Okay, so build ID, then it will just do the report. And if you want to zip it, then you can just select that, otherwise it's okay. And here update artifact. Okay, so now it's updated. When we run now, it will send all the HTML report to this particular section. Okay, WDIO test. Let's rerun it and we'll see whether this is sending all the HTML report to the S3 bucket or not. Okay, so let's see this time it got uploaded or not. I go here and report definitely will be generated over here. Okay, and let's go and see whether within here it's created. Okay, it is created. Okay, it is there. So you can see the HTML report is there, and also we can get sign in URL for now, but later on we can do something to access this particular HTML file outside, and you can send through the email as well. Okay, so now you can see the HTML report over here. One got failed, other got passed. Okay, so this is very nice report actually. When you get this S3 bucket URL, you can share with your team. Okay, through the email or maybe whoever wants. It's a shareable email, shareable URL. Okay. Okay. So one more thing I just forgot to update. Maybe the thing is for the Docker rate limit. So when you use through AWS or anywhere, so there is some limit to pull the images. Okay. For anonymous user, the rate limit is set to 100 pulls per 6 hours per IP address. So if it exceed, then you won't be able to run your test within the 6 hours, right? To resolve that, you need to um, send e all these images to ECR, okay, AWS Elastic Container Registry. Instead of using the public Docker Hub, you can use the AWS managed okay, registry. To do that, what you need to do, just pull the image from normal Docker Hub. Then you can just tag this to your ECR. So if I go to ECR over here, Elastic Container Registry, all right. So that it would be easy. So create a repository. If you don't have any repository, so for example, I'll just create a Selenium Chrome Grid. All right, I'll just create the repository. Okay, once you have this repository, within that there is nothing. So you need to push the images to this particular repository. To do that, just if you just click on that, here you can see view push command. So everything is there. So no need to do anything. Just copy this first to log into Docker. So in the beginning itself, I showed how to configure the AWS. So if you haven't done, so try to install AWS CLI. After that, AWS configure. Then copy and paste the this login and ECR login command here, and you should see this login succeed. So now you should be able to push any images to Docker Hub, sorry, AWS Docker Hub, that is the ECR. Okay, so just build any image over here if you have a Docker file, or just if you want to just tag it, right? So I can see if I have that image present, Docker image ls. So yeah, I have some images over here, and this Selenium standalone Chrome. Okay, so this image I am gonna okay, let's see, I'm gonna tag it. Okay, just tag over here Selenium grid latest. Instead of this, I'll just write here the actual name, whatever I see here. V and the tag. The tag is so I can get in from here. Chrome Selenium standalone Chrome. Okay, so this is the tag. Okay, so this particular image will be tagged as this one. Okay, so this is your ECR registry ID. Okay, once you tag, just Docker push. I just push it here, just copy, paste. Okay, once that is being pushed, right. It will take some time. Then instead of using wherever you use this public images for the Docker, okay, for example this one standalone Chrome, I just use this one latest. Okay, so I use this one instead, so that there will be no rate limit issue. Now we should see the image is being pushed over here. Okay. Okay, I should see the latest tag. So that means this image being pushed, that is 475 MB size. Okay, you can just copy the URI, and wherever that you need, you can just use. For example, this is the one I just used, so it would be the same. All right, similar way, wherever you are using, for example, here Node Alpine. So just download that Node Alpine and just create a repository in here for the Node Alpine. Okay, then push that image to ECR. Similar way, yeah, for automation we don't need to push any image for now, but if you want to push your image, this automation image also, you can just push directly from here. Okay, before doing that, Docker pull, you need to make sure you just use uh, this login thing over here. Okay, here you need to use this login, log into this ECR. Okay, whichever container ID, not container ID, this is the repository. Okay, so this is the ID that you need to use, so it might be different in your case. All right, so yeah, so this is all for this video. In the next video we'll see how we can do the same thing, creation of this code build and everything, the infra, using CloudFormation or maybe Terraform. I'll try to do the same thing there as well. Please like and share if you like the video with your friends. Yeah, thanks a lot. See you in the next video. Bye for now.